It's begun with a clarion call by the number one citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Like a wildfire, rice cultivation eats up every available space. Kura local government area of Kano State has created a niche for itself in that direction. Thanks to the flow of blessings from the tentacles of Hadija Jama'ari River Basin. Majority of farmers in the local government have heeded to that clarion call and have since prostrated their wasts.
It has been a remarkable achievement in terms of closing up the national demand gap. We were producing around 380,000 metric tons of paddy rice in the 60s. It has now risen to close to 9 million metric tons. This is a very significant improvement, and as far as the national demand gap is, it has been closed very soon. Any additional improvement is going to be for export.
Among them Malan Lawal, who is not only cultivating rice, but future rice farmers. He tills more than 50 acres of land, harvesting twice a year, enjoying federal government support.
To be sincere, we farmers are happy with the policies of the federal government. This came to our rescue with series of interventions because many of us who have nothing to buy farm input have been supported on loan. We have planted for the seasons, harvested and made huge gains. This do not happen before now. In the past, we harvest rice without buyers, and even when you get buyers, it will be purchased on credit without assurances of payment. But now, buyers go from farms to farms, buying rice paddy and making instant payments. And now the value has risen significantly, unlike before. So all we will say as farmers is that we are grateful to the federal government for coming up with those policies which strengthens the position of the farmers. We are also urging successive government to sustain the policies because doing this will keep rice farmers in the farms. This initiative has brought about jobs creation to the teeming youth. because the rice value chain has multiple impacts.
And the rice fields blossom here, especially around Kura local government area in Kano State, because it is powered by the Hadejia Jama'are River Basin development. I mean, in terms of supply of water during the dry season. This is planted during the dry season, and you can see precisely that it is about to be harvested.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, gave a directive which led to the closure of borders. That gave room for many of us to go back to the farm and become self-sufficient in food production. A farmer who used to plant on a hectare of land now plants on 2 hectares or even 3, and that has helped a lot of us farmers. We have made huge gains in rice farming. If you produce rice before now, you will end up losing. But as soon as the borders were closed, if you produce rice paddy, you make gains. That is the reason why so many people have now gone back to farming. Many of our people who have gone to higher places of learning with degrees and masters have left it for the farms because the farms are more beneficial than civil service or other jobs. For us, the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari has brought about unprecedented development in the area of farming.
Kura, in the eye of the storm, swelling lips and bounds.
New markets are springing up. So many buyers and sellers are coming together, exchange goods for monies. And at the tail end, people across the country itself come around, buy goods from here and take it to other parts of the country.
By the time of the peak of harvest of rice paddy, you'll be surprised by the number of people trooping into these markets. You'll see heavy trucks loading here. We experience the convergence of people from across the country, but we need more support from the government so that more job opportunities will be created.
Rice paddy begging for the scorching sun, so the trucks who send them to processing. Processing is no more rocket science. At a stone throw, smaller processing machines do the magic for families.
From the farms, households bring rice paddy here in one of the small-scale processing unit in Karfi, Kura local government area of Kano State here. And in a couple of minutes, you'll be able to process rice and be ready, like this one, to be cooked and be put on your dinner or lunch table.
The big players in rice processing have their boilers positioned strategically in the center of commerce. Their investment huge, and so their modus operandi. They say their success revolves around the policies of the federal government in food self-sufficiency.
We thank this President Muhammadu Buhari for introducing this policy of go to farm and feed yourself. And we that we cannot go and do farming, we invest in agricultural processing companies. You know, it is not easy, and nobody will believe it before this time, that the way we are eating rice in Nigeria, Nigeria can feed itself within this shortest period of time of less than 4 years or less than 10 years. Our fear, we have already invested, and the people are already coming more to invest. If there is no continuity on this policy, we are not praying for that, but the thing will be very bad. Look at the billions of dollars. From in Kano alone, we have almost 20 rice mills now in Kano alone. From 5 years to now, more than, and all this one are mega rice milling. No one that is processing less than 100 tons per day. It's from 500 tons to 100 tons per day. More than 20 companies now. Just take an example. If each one is only 200 people that are working directly, not indirectly, indirect workers. And out of these 200 people, every person is taking responsibility of 5 people per month. And how many tons of rice is going out from these 5 companies? From the people that will come and buy, go to display in their shops, the drivers that will come and load, the laborers that will load the rice, go and offload it outside. When you come and buy 1 bag, somebody will put it on top of your machine or in your korukura. This is a chain that no single person will like to break this chain.
More than 20 world-class rice milling companies are doing their bits in Kano alone. More springing up. Now that Nigeria has found a place of pride in the global rice production chain.
Without that intervention, and with the economic crisis that is happening in the world today, I can tell you that only God knows what will happen to Nigerians. Because with our size, over 200 million people, how do you feed them? Where do you get the food? Even if you say you are going to open your borders now to bring in this rice, at what cost is it coming to Nigeria? And who has the purchasing power to pay for that? So I can say the most successful thing is even creating the platform, saying that, okay, worst come was, let us feed ourselves. And we can see that happening. When we first start, I can tell you the metrics. As at last year around this time, we were having the belief that, okay, we can only get paddy during the rainy season. Okay, we all know that 2 seasons of farming of rice happened in Nigeria, but not at that scale of it being economical. People just do the dry season for the sake of doing it. Because without institutions like this, the farmers, even if you do rainy season, you do dry season, where do you take the paddy to? So when that platform was created, we now come in to say, okay, let us bridge that gap. You understand? We had seen the rainy season, dry paddy came, it all get mopped up. And we now see an improvement from what happened last year to what happened this year during the dry season paddy that comes. We didn't expect that number anyway. We thought the number could be less. But as I speak to you now, we still, yeah, it comes in trickle, but it does come. It does come. So, and if we go on that lane, I can tell you that it will only take lesser time than we imagine. It is one thing to do rice milling. It is another thing to be able to control your final product. Because if you pride yourself that, okay, I want to produce the premium rice, same quality, good quality, competitive quality that can compete all over the globe, then it tells that you need to have control of your paddy. That means you need to be consistent with the amount of paddy that comes. But that is a challenge, because we take paddy that comes from Taraba, we take paddy that comes from Gombe, we take paddy that comes from here, Jigawa, Kano State. We also take paddy that comes as far as Kebbi States. So these are different varieties, these are different grades, these are different. Because when you say you are going to stick to a particular variety, that means you should run short of your demand for the paddy. That means you wouldn't be able to produce optimally. So it's a challenge, but that is also how ingenuity comes in business. So here in Gerard Rice Mill, our machines are state-of-the-art machine, you understand? So we have graders that can be able to grade the level of rice that get produced. And that is why we are able to achieve that consistency. However, that can be detrimental to our business ecosystem. Because when we set the grader that, okay, it has to be this length, and the paddy that comes is shorter than that length, that means it will end up in the, not the premium quality, but in the substandard quality, which will also affect our business ecosystem.
The current policy on the ban of importation of rice should remain in place. And then secondly, investment should be increased in the area of processing of the rice paddy. And then lastly, a robust seed variety development with higher productivity and an organized seed sector for rice should be put in place. These tripod are the things that will make Nigeria harvest as much economic benefit from rice as possible.
The big-time rice processors say Nigeria's rice can give global players in rice production a run for their money, but we must put our house in order.
Of course, the government has done wonderfully well before because the inflation rate wasn't much then, and there were like supports by the government in terms of the chemicals and fertilizer, and at the same time machineries like tractors, all sorts of mechanization tools that may like assist the farmer to have more modernized farming system. But when it comes to like, you know, last two years and this year, the fertilizer we were buying 9,000 is now more than 20,000 naira, and the support government has been making or doing wasn't like before. Now there were nothing like fertilizer from government directly. So and at the same time they haven't given the subsidy they have been given before is no longer there again. But if government will reach to the core or real farmers, their production will definitely increase, and rice we don't want to be even given those countries we are importing rice, inshallah.
We are now facing challenges of fertilizer supply. That is really frustrating. Apart from that, we find it difficult to buy other farm inputs like chemical tractors and planters. So these are some of the challenges we are facing. You may sometimes go to the market with your money and can't get fertilizer to buy. And if we don't have fertilizer, there is no farming. Before now, we buy fertilizer from 15 to 18,000 naira. Now, it has reached 25 to 26,000 naira, sometimes 30,000. So if you buy fertilizer at the current selling price and cultivate rice, you may end up with a meager return, which could make rice farming unattractive. When the price of fertilizer was low, we make huge gains. And if we look at mechanized farming, we see that tractor hire is also becoming difficult with combined harvester and other inputs. So, we are calling on government to go back to the drawing board and put more efforts in making rice farming more attractive. Let them investigate and find out where the problems are and resolve the issues so we can get the desired support.
It is only in major markets like this one that you will appreciate the quantum of progress that Nigeria has made in terms of becoming self-sufficient in rice production.
Now the storages of local rice dealers are to the brim with the bags of rice bearing logos showcasing the pride of a nation being blown by wind of change. Winnowing the content of each bag, rice of premium crystal clear quality drops, keeping local dealers in smiles.
We are thankful to God because farmers are planting the rice and the markets are getting the supplies, but the rice is becoming more expensive, which is a major challenge.
On the dining table of Nigerians, a healthy meal.
What we produce here is fresh. The so-called Thailand rice that comes. I can tell you now, if they are to cook the Thailand rice and bring to you now and cook Gerawa rice, when you eat, you tell me the difference because this is so fresh and the aroma is just more appealing than that one. So when you take it outside, it's just a matter of tasting. When you get now one businessman that is saying, okay, let me go out of my way, let me even start taking this Gerawa rice to export it. You understand? And people will accept it. People will accept it. You understand? So the question is whether it can reach that standard, and the answer is yes, and it can even surpass.
There's no doubt that Nigeria has been able to save itself from the burden of rice importation bills. But most importantly, its citizens like me will have rice on top of their tables for dinner or lunch, fresh, as against the ones that has been imported, which nobody will tell exactly how long it has stayed in storage before arriving here.